respected women leaders, uh, all the people who are actually he for she's, including Polok, Benazir Ahmed, and all the young friends here. Let me start by congratulating the Honorable Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission for a wonderful theme song. Um, at the outset, I also at the same time express my very deep appreciation for NHRC to come together with CRI and gives us opportunity to UNDP to partner with you for launching this extremely important campaign, especially at a time when rather shocking incidents of violence against women have deeply shaken public conscience. And there is, despite such despicable acts, an opportunity to bring in lasting positive change. I say this with a certain degree of reassurance, given because every crisis offers opportunities. I also say it at a time when we know that the COVID pandemic has actually been much more than just a health crisis. And I want to put a spotlight on this at some stage because women have borne the larger brunt, the disproportionate brunt of this crisis, whether as caregivers, even in my own office, when we are having an alternate work modality and people are expected to work from home. It's women who find it extremely difficult because they have children not going to school or they have older parents or parents-in-law to be taken care of or doing all the management at home. So they are the ones who wanting to actually come back to office and work because they say that if I have to work, I'd rather come back to office and work. So in the Secretary General's, and I'll come to it in a moment, in the Secretary General's view, what we are seeing, the whole violence against women is a crisis within a crisis, a pandemic within a pandemic. And I think there is an important bit that we need to do, but I'm very conscious of times. I'm not going to get into any amount of data. The data will be available in public domain. We also had the benefit of hearing the thoughts and insights of rather very distinguished panel of speakers and intellectuals from rather diverse backgrounds, whether they are parliamentarians, ministers, the police chief. We all heard from, we will soon hear from both the SG's special envoy as well as the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission. And I'm essentially meant to be just expressing the UNDP's interest to continue with the campaign, but nonetheless, and I will beg your a little bit of time from you just to express a few views on my own. And I also must at the outset also tell you that I've just returned from a long trip from Sylhet by car. আমার নিজের বক্তব্য কিছু খাপছাড়া শোনাতে পারে, but nonetheless I want to say these things because I think it's a very important area of work. I think, and I think I heard it from various people about, you mentioned about laws being enacted and you also mentioned about law enforcement. We are essentially talking a lot about countering measures. We're talking a lot about countering measures, but I also want to mention a few things which are also going to be important from a prevention point of view. Some of you have mentioned it, but I rather sort of underline and underscore them. One of the important things, and I think at least I can say this with a certain, not so much in Bangladesh, but definitely in India, parts of India, where I come from, you will have to do a lot of work in looking at the mindset and sensitivity and attitude of the law enforcement officials. And I think the National Human Rights Commission, which has a partnership with the police and with others, they'll have to work on this to actually make sure that, we have sensitized the various people who are supposed to be preventing such crimes or supposed to take note of complaints or grievances are able to do the job with a certain degree of sensitivity. I also want to mention and underscore the fact that how society is constructed, and many of you mentioned about values being sort of paribarik and pratishtanik জায়গা থেকে আসা উচিত, and I think that is something that is highly needs to be underscored because at least when I was growing up, the values came largely from home, from the family. But as we are going, we are staying in smaller families with both parents working, hardly finding time to be with the children, I think public institutions also need to wake up and meet that gap which the families cannot fulfill. I think we need to work together. We also need to redefine what is the social image of a modern man. How do we define who is the successful man? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it big muscles? Is somebody who carries a gun? Or is somebody with somebody who respects everybody in society? Somebody who can wear a pink shirt and even maybe shed tears in public because they feel empathy. We heard about the father of the nation. He is certainly an epitome of what a modern man of his times and perhaps even today's times should be. I am an architect and town planner by training, so I should mention about the importance of making sure that public spaces, whether it's public transportation or public spaces, are actually meant to be are should be designed to be safe. Because if you were to go to any public consultations with which the local government often does when they're doing annual plans together, you can talk to the women there and ask them where do they feel comfortable or where do they don't feel comfortable, where do they feel unsafe, and do something about it. Whether it's fixing cameras, putting lights on, having better toilets, or actually somebody mentioned about the concept of air marshals being brought into even buses and having bus marshals there who can actually immediately there be there. We have to have much more gender responsive planning. I also want to underscore the fact that we've seen whether it's a pandemic or whether every other social change in society, we talk about the important and influential role that religious leaders play. And I'm actually, in a way, personally, I'm quite shocked that when you have an incident of rape or when there's this terrible incidents of violence against women, religious leaders are not doing their jobs properly. I'm sorry to say this, across the globe, they're not doing adequately the role that they can play because they do have a very influential role. I'm also shocked with the kind of role that media is expected to play. We see that media picks up on sensational news. When there is a rape, they will mention it. But when the government takes action and immediately does something, those news don't necessarily make headlines. They're hidden in the third or fourth pages of newspapers. So I think we need to all come together and we need more balanced views and balanced projection of news. And of course, then in most parts of the world today, there is an over politicization of anything which happens in society. I think in a grave situation, uh, what is happening today in a very critical area of work, I think there is a need for global solidarity and everybody needs to come together. And I also want to mention something which I particularly meant. I'm really mentioning this to uh, both sets of both the people, young people here. I think why wait for a crime to happen? Why do we need to wait for a report to take action? Why cannot this be a marathon campaign? And this is exactly what we are starting today. Hopefully this will be a continuous process. Aruma Datta mentioned about this being a whole of society, and I think this is something that we will need to do it. The last bit, I want to mention two things. I want to mention something about the father of my nation, but who was obviously a hero of South Asia. This is his 150th year. Mahatma Gandhi mentioned about freedom at midnight. He said a modern nation is a nation where women can feel safe going alone in the streets at midnight. That is the hallmark of a modern nation. Let's all strive towards it. And finally, I just wanted to, thank you, Nujat, particularly, and everybody else for starting this program perfectly on time. Because I think acting on time and acting now is the call for the hour. I'm actually looking to all the young people who are gathered here today. Uh, we are starting a wonderful campaign. Somebody mentioned about keeping public spaces safe. I will mention about not just public spaces safe, make sure that you're putting equal or if not more importance on intimate partner violence and domestic violence. Because I think if there are more crimes happening at home in the private spaces than in the public space, and if we don't control them, they spill over to the public space as well. And finally, it is not just keeping our homes safe and our public spaces safe, let our mental spaces also be women friendly and safe. Thank you very much. And I'm very happy that UNDP is able to be part of this campaign and look forward to working together. Thanks very much.